can buy it.
No. You want to run things here?
No, not at all.
Huh? You want to be daddy? Is that it? Number two, you want to wear the daddy pants? Huh? You gonna cry?
Well,
you gonna cry?
So.
Huh? You gonna cry? You gonna cry tonight?
No!
Huh?
What are you?
Huh? You're gonna squirt some? You gonna cry? Huh? Yeah, see, you're gonna cry, huh? You're a big man now, huh? Yeah, thought so.
We're still here. They're still complaining. PlayStation games are still complaining that Xbox is competing. And the complaint is that Xbox is doing it better, or spending money, or not being fair, or cheating, because they've done something Sony's not done, or they've got the capability to do something that Sony can't do. And that's by publishers. And as a result, I think that's cheating, not fair. I don't know what the what's not fair. This is business. At what point, how do you want people to compete? I'm confused, right? So, I'll tell you what's unfair. That Sony had a generation head start ahead of Xbox. So what should have happened, is that when Xbox launched, Sony should have reset the slate. Should have completely wiped the slate clean, sold off their studios and that, and then started from scratch at the same time with Xbox. That would have been fair, wouldn't it? Because otherwise it's cheating that they got a head start, isn't it? It's cheating they had market share before even Xbox had a chance. It's cheating that Xbox is playing catch up. That's not fair, is it? No, it's business. Now I could cover a great many deal PlayStation fanboys that are just crying about this. Your saltiest gamers, your Mooch, your King Thrash, your what's his face, Porter Rock. There's so many. They're all whining about it, and they're whining because they know that the flag they've been waving for decades, or however long they sponsored Sony, could crumble. It could, for whatever reason in their head, they're thinking, oh no, they're going to lose something. If Xbox takes the lead, they're going to lose something. Something will be missing from their life. So now they're doing their best to defend and end this and stop at all costs. Or just play down or just hate on Xbox. Just competing, basically. But you know what? I'm going to go with this fella. This fella's been to and fro with me on Twitter. I think it's Dawnless' sort of account. Just between you and me. Shogun Reloaded. Exactly my point. So this has been a long debate, and he's just been going round and round the houses, trying to say why it's unfair that Xbox is buying publishers and it's bad for gaming. It's going to kill the industry, because that's what we're hearing him all say. Sort of copy-paste comment. Exactly my point. Competition at the IP and innovation level is key. Makes games better. ND provided the correct response here. Fantastic. Xbox has moved away from this and instead resulted in cheating its way to the top by simply buying up and locking away the industry.
What, you gonna cry?
No.
No, go ahead, cry. Let me see you. Let me see you cry.
This video is really going to be about me covering all these points, just saying some home truths and saying, what's really going on here, and let's just look at the bigger picture. So he first touched on Naughty Dog, right? Let's look at Naughty Dog. Sony bought them, I think, in 2001. It wasn't until Uncharted, really, they started kicking off and become really big. Uncharted, which released in 2007, so 7 years later. So basically an entire generation we waited for them to develop something sort of worthy. And even Uncharted 1 wasn't even the best. Uncharted 2, I'd say, was the best. But, we had to wait 7 years. So, you keep referring back to Naughty Dog, and Xbox should be doing the same thing. So you want Xbox to buy up studios and then pretty much wait 7 years or beyond for them just to get good at things. How is that competing? How is that going to compete with Sony? Have already got a market share and already a market lead, a generation ahead. How is them having to buy studios and then develop those studios over 7 years competing with Sony now? You tell me how that's competing. There's no fair in it, because that's when they was competing with people like Nintendo and Sega and stuff like that, and they were buying up IPs, they were buying up studios and that, and making stuff exclusive to compete with them. And eventually, as we know the story behind Sega, they disappeared, they vanished, they couldn't keep up, because Sony had money. Sony basically muscled them off because they just had more money, and that's the brunt of it, really. I mean, Sega did make some mistakes as well, but all the companies do. I mean, Sony, I'm not sure of making mistakes for their career of developing games. But then the guy went on to say, Xbox has moved away from this. They've moved away from making IPs. But, yeah, idiot. And instead of this, it resulted in cheating its way to the top by simply buying up and locking away the industry. So I just want to recap on what seems to be fair so far with the Sony fan base. So it's okay to have cross-gen and charge developers for it, it's fine. It's okay to charge for upgrades and sort of improving the game or bring up to the next generation consoles, that's okay. It's also okay to charge for backwards compatibility because that's not free on PlayStation. It's okay to hike the price up of your games from 60 to 70 and charge 70 for remasters. It's also okay to bump the price up of your console even though it's 2 years into the generation. That's all fine. It's okay to have exclusives. It's okay to have timed exclusives. It's okay to remove games that were originally on another platform off that platform, so it's now exclusive on your platform. Games like Project E, for example, was on Xbox, now it's not. It's now on PlayStation. That's okay. Also to lock content like exclusive content off multi-platform games. Games like the Avengers game, where Spider-Man wasn't on the Xbox or PC version. That was locked down to PlayStation version only. It's okay for Call of Duty to have on the PlayStation to have exclusive content. It's also okay to have campaigns and missions and extra bonuses for things like Hogwarts Legacy that's coming out. That's all okay. It's also okay to buy studios and obviously have shares in publishers. That's all okay. Yet we are getting comments like this one.
Mwah! You're taking this very personal. Tom, this is business, and this man is taking it very, very personal.
He claims Xbox gamers are being hypocrites. Well, actually, let's just say Nintendo and PC gamers, because they will agree with my take, and pretty much everyone disagrees with the PlayStation fan base's take on this. But he's called us extremists and show the highest degree of hypocrisy. Look at the irony of that. It's a problem industry-wide. It's industry-wide, is it? Okay, we'll go into that in a minute. It's the part I want to focus on is, but Xbox is just buying up IPs left, right, and centre equals cheating. Let's just recall, Sony didn't own Insomniac when Spider-Man was made. It wasn't until the game had launched that Sony then bought the studio, thus then buying up the IP. Same as Demon's Souls, they didn't own that until they bought the studio after the game was released. Same as Returnal. Actually, I don't. And talking about studios, I don't think there's many homegrown studios. I think pretty much they've bought almost all their studios, save maybe two. They've bought all their studios and all the IPs that have come with them. But the thing I want to really go into here is that the thing is he calls it cheating. I don't think he understands. Let's see what Sony have been doing with their time and their businesses. Let's just focus on when this happened. Let's look at Sony 2021. So just shortly after Xbox had bought Bethesda, what was Sony buying up? So they spent 430 million on music, the AWOL Cobalt neighbouring rights from Cobalt Music Group. They were publishers. They bought. I mean, they just focus on the gaming because that's what people say. Oh, but it's gaming, even though they're buying publishers and music. But we'll come back to that. They're buying publishers everywhere. Let's just focus on games, right? They bought Evolution Championship Series in March 2021 for esports. Something else studio, content strategy across TV, radio, yada yada yada. I said entertainment, sorry. House Marquee they bought in 2021. Nix's 2021. They bought Crunchyroll. Fire Sprite they bought. Fabric Games they bought. Bluepoint Games they bought. Who else they buy? Valkyrie Entertainment. Lozongi Gaming Division of Daylight Works. Haven Studios. Bungie. And at the moment they're working on Savage Gaming Studios. They bought just them recently. They also bought the esports of Repeat and Right Stuff, e-commerce, home entertainment, video publishing. Video publishing company they bought, and distribution. So since 2021 alone, they've bought 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 game studios. But Xbox are just buying people up left, right, and centre. That's just game studios, but obviously they've bought other things, music and stuff like that, and stuff to do with the gaming industry. Oops, pardon me, what's this? Oh, they've got some stuff pending. Z Entertainment Enterprises, broadcasting, films, music streaming. They cost them 1.5 billion. Industrial media television, that's costing 350 million. So they got those pending. Oh, well, those are still coming. Let's look at the companies they have stakes in. So from February 2021, Kadoa Corporation 1.9, global expansion, power of animation and consumer games. Epic Games, obviously, Discord, Alamo Records, Scoplay, Devolver Digital, Japan Advanced Semiconductor Manufacturing, Epic Games, they've got more shares in that. From Softwares, Exobyte. In fact, they've got loads of stakes in loads of different companies. That's greedy and cheating, isn't it? What? It's almost as if they're a business and they're trying to make money. And do you know what? I could do this all day. I love it. So, who remembers TriStar? I think they made music. TriStar Publishers. Yes, Sony bought those. They bought that music publisher to get a foothold in the music industry. Who remembers Columbia Pictures? They were publishers for movies. Sony bought them to get a foothold in the movie industry. And before you whine, it's not the same. Yes, it is the same. The point is, Sony have a history of buying publishers, buying studios, buying everything they need to get money and to get a foothold and to basically dominate that area, that genre, which they're trying to compete in. Because that's what it's all about, competing. So in the past, Sony have bought up music publishers and studios. They've bought up movie publishers and studios. They've even tech. They've bought so much money into tech and stuff like that, just to dominate things like sound and cameras and things like that. They've done it across the board. And the only reason they've not really conquered gaming in the same way, because funds. Because, you know, before you say, but that's PlayStation, it's different. No, they're the same company. Stop pretending that like there's Sony and then there's PlayStation. They're the same company. Sony override PlayStation. They've done it before. Like when they partnered with Microsoft for Azure Cloud. Remember that? I do. Bottom line is, this is business. If Sony could, they would have bought publishers and they would goddamn made those exclusive. But they're doing every other means they can think of. You know, even low blow means, just to keep ahead of Xbox. And they're doing it. No one's complaining about it. Well, yeah, people did complain. But, you know, the outrage that Xbox are trying to compete by using, shock horror, their money. They've got a lot of money. They're a trillion-dollar company. Why do you think, for an instant, they should compete on the same level as Sony? Do you recall Phil saying, a few years ago, before I think these even went through, that their competition isn't Sony. Their competition is Amazon and Google and Apple. Big trillion-dollar companies. Sony's just a fish in a big pond. You're just so absorbed by just Sony that you're not looking at the bigger picture. Okay, Xbox didn't buy these studios up. Do you think these studios would have just rotted away and vanished because they needed help? Do you think they would have done? No, Amazon would have bought them up. Do you think they would have made them exclusives? Yes, they fucking would have done. Google would have bought them. Apple would have bought them up. They would have been bought by someone. I'm just glad they've been bought by an actual game company that actually cares about gaming. And you're basically all upset because Sony can't compete financially, because Xbox is getting the support by Microsoft, but PlayStation isn't getting the full support of Sony. If you look it up, Sony's spending millions and billions on buying other studios, publishers and stuff across music, across TV, television, movies, everything. They're doing it across the board. That's the thing. They're sort of throwing their net out really wide because they're trying to just cover everything in their company, because a lot of their company is sort of fucked. Where Microsoft now are focused on gaming now. Their main focus is gaming, so they're throwing loads of money into gaming. You can't punish Microsoft and Xbox for that. Anywho, I shan't take up any of your time. Hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Please sub and share and like and share this out. Get as many people in as possible to kick this debate off going, because I'm really interested in people's opinions on this. Thank you all for watching, and goodbye for now.